Two Monroe County ministers are suing federal prison officials for the right to touch people on death row when they pray. The lawsuit filed by the ACLU of Indiana asks a federal judge in Terre Haute to let them have contact with men for whom they serve as spiritual advisors. They also want contact during their executions if they occur. The lawsuit claims the prison's policy of allowing visits with spiritual advisors only through thick glass violates the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. We're joined now by one of the ministers who filed the lawsuit, Bill Breeden of the Unitarian Universalist Church, who serves as a spiritual advisor for a federal death row prisoner in Terre Haute. Welcome so much to the show. Thanks for being here.
I'm honored to be here.
So just briefly tell us, what does this lawsuit hope to achieve?
Well, we hope that ministers of record on the row will have the opportunity, as lawyers do, to have contact visits. And I don't know of any religious tradition that does not see the need of human contact to be fully human. And of course, in my faith, our first principle is affirming the dignity and worth of every human being. And I've been visiting Chad Folks for 14 years and have never touched him. Mm-hmm. And when I volunteered to be Corey Johnson's minister of record and go to the death chamber with him, I had probably somewhere around 25 hours of visitation with him in the weeks before he was killed. And it was an amazing experience. The worst I've ever had was in the death chamber, but I never really got to touch him until he was dead. And to me, that is a violation of his rights, and it's a violation of my rights as a minister, because we are, I know the Bible quite well, and we're laying on of hands is the way you heal people, not just physically, but their spirit and their psyche. So to have to talk to them through glass, you begin with an assumption by someone that they're dangerous animals. And they're not, they're human beings. So we hope to get this right for every minister on the row so that we can hold their hands when we pray for them. We can affirm their worth and dignity. And if we have to go to the death chamber, we're also asking the right to touch them before and during the execution.
So what does it mean to be a spiritual advisor? Do you have specific responsibilities? I know there's also a chaplain too, correct? Yeah. What's the difference between the two? Well,
the chaplain serves the Religious Service Department of the federal government and provides religious services. To get to be an MOR, a minister of record is what they call it. They used to call it spiritual advisor. But it's minister of record. One has to be ordained and have a religious body who will confirm that ordination. And then we have to be asked by the prisoners themselves. I started this 14 years ago when a prisoner got my name from some other prisoner and asked me to come help them. And so I did. And Corey Johnson was in solitary confinement for 29 years without a visitor. So the only humans that touched Corey Johnson for 29 years, from the time he was 19 to 49, the only people was to put cuffs on him or prison employees. And he was very kind, very warm. Everybody on the row called him the gentle giant. Nobody had ever heard him raise his voice. A man that I came to love very deeply, but I had to stop and I had to stand 6 feet away and watch him kill him. And human beings are not designed to watch a person be murdered and not try to stop it. And although I know there's no way we can stop that at that point, I think you can comfort him by touch. And the least we can be is humane. We do this for our animals. When we put them to sleep, we hold them. When we euthanize them, and it's painless. We need to, if we're going to execute people, which I'm totally opposed to, but if we're going to execute people, at least we can be as humane as possible.
We really appreciate your time on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.